to the Hoopstrology Podcast Season 2, brought to you by the Bayou Citian. I'm one of your hosts, Jesus Acevedo Jr., and by my side is the man that makes this podcast possible, if I'm being frank with you listeners, the astrology guru, the Zodiac GM. What's going on, Zodiac?
Hey, what's going on? It's been a while, right?
It has been a while, Zodiac. We kind of didn't tell our listeners that we were taking a break. We just took it, and we made that decision. But yeah, it's been months since we've talking about Hoopstrology, about basketball and astrology. Although you have been doing plenty of that on Twitter, haven't you, Zodiac?
Yeah, I try to keep up with it, and yeah, there's been a lot of pretty good ones, man. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how things go, especially for NBA season, this coming season.
Yeah, that's what we're here about in Hoopstrology. We're about to get into this season, which kicks off. We're recording this on Monday night, but it's kicking off. People are listening to this on Tuesday morning, so it's kicking off today. Today, we can say we're in the future already. So it's kicking off today. It's starting earlier than what we're used to, right? We're used to around Halloween time. It seems like it's like 1 week ahead. And you know what I wonder? I wonder if the in-season tournament has something to do with that, and the extended break that the players get now after the All-Star break.
I'm pretty sure it does. Yeah, it would make sense, right? Probably. I think so. Yes. In season usually starts what? Maybe a month in. I don't know. I can't remember. But
and then the All-Star break. Now players get about, I think, a week and a half off before was just like a couple of days. So we're starting today with the NBA season, and we thought what better way than this first episode in season 2, right as the start of the season is, we're going to talk about some predictions. So we got our prediction, and the first prediction that we got is NBA champion, who we think is going to be the NBA champion of this 2024-2025 NBA season. Let's do a quick recap. The Boston Celtics are the reigning NBA champion. They defeated the Dallas Mavericks 4-2, if I'm not mistaken, right? 4 games to 2. Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown raised the banner, 19th banner. Jaylen Brown MVP, Finals MVP, which I correctly called the Finals MVP for Jaylen Brown. So I want to pat myself on the back there. So yeah,
there you go.
But thank you. Well, that's a quick recap. So now I'm gonna throw it back to you, Zodiac. I'm putting you on the spot first. Who do you think is going to be the NBA champion? Who's going to be raising the trophy in June 2025?
That's a tough one. I don't know.
No, I'm holding you.
If I was to make some prediction, I've been trying to analyze each and every team. I got to give it to New York. New York.
Oh my God.
New York.
Okay, New York.
If everyone is healthy, they have the right coach. They have the right player. They have it. They have the blueprint of a championship team, in my opinion. And I wouldn't be surprised if they end up winning it all, or even make it to the NBA Finals. I feel like they're the team to beat. So
overall, or in the Eastern Conference?
Well, I would say, in Eastern Conference, I would say that. But there's a couple of teams that's out in the West, a little bit scary, But but yeah, I would say if I was to make a prediction, New York Knicks would win the NBA championship this season, 2025.
I think that's a very solid pick. You see how far they got with all the injuries they had in last year's NBA playoffs, and
You're right.
But I think there's a key thing you said in there: if healthy.
You're right.
If healthy, this team has what it takes. I think the addition of Karl Anthony Towns' cat, I think is going to push him a bit further. I think they are listening to a bit physicality, but I think it's going to make up with the just the Tom Thibodeau effect. He's a defense first guy, and he's always been there everywhere he's been, and his players always play hard. And so I think that physical, I guess, toughness that I guess you listen with Julius Randle, it'll be there, because I think Cat opens up their game a bit more. But then now give it to me. How does they look from an astrological point of view? How synergetic is this team?
They're very synergetic. I mean, they have a strong synergy. The coach, starting five, very compatible. That's all you need, really.
So is it like a 5-0, 4-1?
Well, 5-0, 5-0. You look at 5-0.
So
all right,
every single.
Check this out. You got okay. you have Karl-Anthony Towns, right? He's a Scorpio. You got Anunoby, he's a Cancer. That duo right there is gonna be really good. But not only that, you got
Mm.
the Virgo in Brunson, who's also compatible to those two. You got Mikal Bridges, who's also compatible to the three I just mentioned, and then of course Hart. He's a Pisces. I'm
Mm.
assuming he's starting, right? He has to start. So if it's
They,
Hart
they-
starting,
yeah.
he's a Pisces. So you got Pisces, two Virgos, a Cancer, Scorpio. I mean, come on, you're looking at a team similar to the Denver Nuggets from a couple of seasons ago when they had a similar
Mm.
5-0 type synergy, along with compatible with their head
Yeah.
coach as well. But I've also noticed their bench. They have, was it McBride? They also have Achua, both Virgos.
Mm.
Well, Landry Sham is no longer. I guess I think they waived him or something, but they have it.
Yeah.
The role
Okay.
players they have it all across the board, and they have that strong synergy, and that's the reason why I wouldn't even be surprised if they win it all. You know,
Okay.
so yeah.
That's a very good pick.
Hmm.
My pick, I'm gonna go with the Western Conference, and it's a team
Okay.
that they let me down last season because I picked them to be in the finals. I'm picking the Phoenix Suns to be the NBA champions, and the reason why is I think Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, I think they're finally gonna put together. But I think the big addition to this team is Tyus Jones. I think Tyus
Yes.
Jones is a very underrated point guard in this league. He proved it when he was with Memphis. He did good when he was with Washington, but I mean, let's be honest, not too many people were paying attention to that Washington Wizards team, right? But Tyus Jones, I think his addition to this team, but also Mike Budenholzer. I think those two additions, Mike Budenholzer is going to open up the playbook a bit for this team. He's even said that he's looking forward to putting Bobo into the mix. So I think he's open to playing with the rotations. But I think the addition of Tyus Jones, the way he's just going to get everybody set up so well, and you as once again, just like with your pick of the Knicks, if healthy, right? If the
You're
Phoenix
right.
Suns stay healthy, I think this team can take it all the way to the NBA championship.
Great call. I love it. I love it. I think makes a lot of sense. They definitely have the talent for sure. Injuries, as long as they're healthy, hey, they have a strong shot. I think
How
I
how
think
how are
Budenholzer
they
being the
synergy
head
wise?
coach, they're I would probably rank them mid B plus range. The reason why is because
Mm,
Kevin Durant has a coach that's extremely compatible with his energy. So Budenholzer, Leo, understands Kevin Durant being Libra. It's that Leo Libra connection is strong as it can get, right? The problem is that all the other starters around Kevin Durant are of opposite energy, but very compatible amongst themselves,
mm,
right? So I'm curious to see how this pans out because you do have the alpha, I guess, the cardinal leader in Durant. He's your leader. He's your go-to guy, right?
right.
And then you have Beal, if healthy, and then Booker. They're compatible in themselves. So the way I see it, they can utilize that group along with rotational from the bench and find ways to make it work. They have to. Of course, Budenholzer's a veteran coach. He's done it for years, right? And I think I would give him a B plus synergy because of that.
Mm,
They have enough pieces to surround Kevin Durant, even though Kevin Durant is sort of that lone synergy by himself, but he is a
mm,
natural leader. But the energies around him are compatible amongst themselves. So they can find throughout the game rotations where, hey, when Kevin Durant's, I mean, he is getting up there in age, right? So, if
yeah.
he takes a breather, that's actually a good thing because now Booker and Beal and Nurkic and Tyus Jones can actually do their thing even more wholesomely in a sense, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if they plug in someone like Grayson Allen, who's also a Libra, I mean, his usage won't be as high of importance, I guess, as Kevin Durant, but at least that leaves him like that knockdown shooter, which they can facilitate off of Booker and Beal and utilize that as a strength for Grayson Allen. But they can find ways to make it happen. That's the reason why I feel like they have a strong team. Talent definitely A plus, synergy B plus for them.
Okay. Well, I'm picking up as my champion. Damn everything you just said, all right? I just think they're gonna be
Exactly. That's a good call.
I just think that they're gonna be very competitive, and I think their shooting skills, but again, if healthy, because that was what hurt them last season, if healthy. But now from NBA champion Zodiac, we're moving to MVP. And this is an interesting topic because I feel we're gonna have a very young MVP group, like the five players. I think, and one of them's gonna be making his move and is gonna be lifting this trophy. For me, my pick is Anthony Edwards on the Minnesota Timberwolves. I'm going with the Ant-Man, coming off an Olympic year where he saw what it takes to win those kind of games, put in the work, knows what it takes to make it to the Western Conference Finals. Now he knows that he needs to put work even that much harder to get to the finals. I think beyond that, and I think this is something that you tweeted out when it happened, is that the Timberwolves now, with the blockbuster trade of sending Cat out and bringing in Julius Randle and Dante DiVincenzo, is that this Timberwolves team has even better synergy now. And part of that synergy is what's going to help Ant-Man take the next level and raise the MVP trophy. I just have a feeling that, the way he plays, but I think the team is going to be the Minnesota Timberwolves are going to be among the best teams in the Western Conference. Wouldn't be surprised if they land number 1 or 2 seed in the Western Conference. I think they're that good with these additions that they have. I think Chris Finch, their head coach, is going to put this all together to have a very good fluid offense. I know they're listening now with Cat's three-pointer from a big man perspective, but now you still got Nas Reed there to fill their role. And I just think Anthony Edwards, he's going to lead him. I think he's my MVP pick.
Great call. I love it. Everything you said, that makes so much sense because you're right. I mean, that trade is actually beneficial for the Wolves. Actually, both sides, if you think about it. But their synergy actually fits Anthony Edwards. And a lot of people, they knock down, Julius Randle. He's a great player. But, man, put him next to Anthony Edwards, that's going to be his homeboy. That's good. That's going to be his partner in crime. You have a Sagittarius in Julius Randle, that fire, right? And you have also another fire in Anthony Edwards. And they two naturally connect. I mean, Anthony Edwards is a fixed sign. So think of the fixed sign sort of like the engine to your car, right? He's going to be like your solid fixed energy that's going to be constant, that's going to be stable, right? The mutable energy of someone like Julius Randle, think of that. I'm just trying to think of the best analogy, I guess, as sort of like the fuel. If you're out of fuel, you're not going to do well. If you have a lot of fuel, you're going to do well. It's mutable. They go with the flow. But that fits Anthony Edwards' style. This fit with Julius Randle is much, much stronger than his fit with Karl Anthony Towns. So
really,
it works out that way. But not only that, they also have 2 other pieces in Mike Conley, Libra, and also McDaniels, also a Libra. And DiVincenzo coming off the bench, also compatible to that core group. The only thing that's sort of opposite and polar, in my opinion, is the head coach now. So it's like a shift in synergy favoring Anthony Edwards, but a shift opposite, not favoring Coach Finch. But he is a veteran coach. He is sort of like that defensive-minded coach, right? So I'm curious to see how that's going to work. But the talent is definitely there. So we'll see. We'll see.
So that's my pick for MVP. So Zodiac, what's your pick for MVP? Give it to me.
Oh, Karl Anthony Towns. I'll tell you why.
Karl Anthony Towns. That is a bold prediction.
Exactly.
Karl Anthony Towns. Oh my God. You know what? I'm gonna go explain, because after you explain, if it's a really good explanation, I'm about to go take some money and go bet on Karl Anthony Towns to win MVP. Give it to me. Let me know.
Look, in his entire career, this will be the team that he's probably going to say 10 years or even after he retires, probably the team that he says, this is the team that was best suited for me. The same way Chris Paul talked about his 2018 Rockets. Why did he even mention the 2018 Rockets? Because he was very compatible to that whole team. That's the way Karl Anthony Towns is with this year's New York Knicks team. Now check this out. the past 7
Okay.
years, or even 8 years, 8 MVPs, okay, have had A plus or A minus and above, I should say, synergy starting units. And that individual has one MVP, meaning that their starting core that he was involved with has had A plus, A minus, or and above synergy. What does that mean? Well, if you're playing with a whole bunch of starters that understand you, that connects well with you, and that have great chemistry with you, well, that stands out on people's eyes. They see that and they say, "Wow, he's doing really good." Karl Anthony Towns didn't fit well with the Minnesota Timberwolves. Yes, they had a good record, but you never really hear, "Oh, he's MVP, this and that," because he was just there. He didn't really stand out. Let me name you some players in that last 7, 8 MVPs. Jokic, great starting center unit, right? Joel Embiid, 2023, very compatible starting unit. 2022, Jokic again, of course. Same thing. 2021, Jokic again. Denver Nuggets, as many of you know, Denver Nuggets for like 5 or 6 years have had very, very strong synergy team. And Embiid, that one season, same thing. 2020, Giannis. Guess what happened that year? Won MVP. He won MVP, and also, and in 2019, Giannis again, 5-0 starting. All these teams have 5-0 starting units. No one else probably even knows about that. 5-0 meaning they're all compatible, right? 2018, Houston Rockets, James Harden's year, all compatible. 2017 was the A minus I mentioned because there's only one player that was not compatible on that starting unit, was Russell Westbrook's 2017 Thunder. It was Steven Adams, Sabonis. Remember Sabonis? Steven Adams being a Cancer. Sabonis, Taurus. Oladipo, remember him? Taurus. Westbrook being a Scorpio. And then that fifth man was Roberson, who was a Sagittarius. But his role was sort of limited in a sense, a defensive specialist. But guess what? Westbrook won MVP because they understood Westbrook. He was running that team. When you have a player of high talented player, and you have the right players, you know basketball. Come on, you know basketball, right? If you're in a team and you feel good, and players look at you and they respect you, and they see you, and they're like, man, let's feed him the ball. We understand him, and you do that in return, and they feed off of you. Good things tend to happen. That's the way Karl Anthony Towns, in my opinion, will feel with the New York Knicks, especially him being a Leo Moon. Leo loves that attention, right? Him being in the Big Apple, right? I mean, New York City, he's going to feed off of that energy like no other, in my opinion. So, Karl Anthony Towns, MVP 2025.
The odds, I don't know much about odds, but if I were to bet $10 today on Karl Anthony Towns winning the MVP, and if he wins MVP, DraftKings will pay out $7,000.
Interesting.
That is just interesting. So say
I don't know, but that's
if I put down 100 on Karl Anthony Towns, DraftKings will give me 70,000 if that comes true. Wow.
Yeah, I think people will be surprised. But your call with Anthony Edwards, actually, he was second on my list, believe it or not. Anthony Edwards is second on my list, and I had Jokic at number 3.
Let's see where Anthony Edwards is at. Let me see. Anthony Edwards. I had him right now. I was looking at him. But yeah, that was pretty interesting on let me see. Yeah, Anthony Edwards is 5th. Let me see if I were to win. Yeah, see, if I were to bet $100, I would only win $1,200. Like you have to bet more. Edwards. So Anthony Edwards, he has.
So the bigger upside would be Karl Anthony Towns, and I think because he could put up the numbers. He's been doing it for Minnesota.
Yeah.
And people have always made up excuses because why? Because he doesn't really fit the synergy. Their team is good, but his fit in chemistry was not the best. So it didn't really stand out. Look at Jokic with it. Jokic, he did everything for that team, right? But it stood out because everyone understood him and he understood everyone else because it was wholesome. Karl Anthony Towns with the New York Knicks is going to have that effect because this will be his best team so far in his career because he's going to realize, wow, this team is for me. This is my calling, and this is what that he's gonna strive for. Him being in New
I
York, him being a
definitely,
Leo moon. He's a Scorpio sun,
I
Leo moon,
yeah,
and it'll fit him
yeah.
perfect. Mm-hmm.
I give you props because it's definitely a bold pick. It's definitely going to hit his synergy better, based on what I've read from what you've written and what you've spoken. But just this will be the final point on this, and then we'll move on to the next topic. But Karl Anthony Towns has the same odds to win MVP as James Harden does. That's how unbelievable it will be. And I hope it happens now, because that will be amazing. That will be a great call. I might put $10 on Karl Anthony Towns. Just you never
Hey,
know, because
you never know.
you
You
never
never
know.
know.
You never know. That's $10. Spend $10, gamble $10 to win 7,000. So, but moving on from MVP, because that was a good one. That was a good bold prediction. The next bold prediction we got is who the best team is. So that, because let's be honest, sometimes the best team isn't always the NBA champion, right? So now we're talking about best team, and for me, the best team this season, I think it's gonna be the Boston Celtics. I think the Boston Celtics are going to come in here trying to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. Obviously, they're going to come up a bit short because I didn't pick them to win it. It will not surprise me if they do win it. But I think the Boston Celtics are going to come in with the mission to prove that last year wasn't a fluke. I think Joe Mazzulla, coach, has done a great job of kind of like tampering their expectations, he said that there's zero pressure on Boston to repeat as champions. Like pretty much saying, like, there's bigger things happening in the world than us repeating as champions, trying to downplay the pressure, but I think what it took for them to win last season, they know now what it takes to reach there again, and they want to get there. I mean, look, we can talk. They were the best team in the Eastern Conference by 14 games, and then they only lost 3 games in the entire playoffs. 3 games in the entire Eastern Conference playoffs and in the finals. So that is pretty astonishing. So that's who I think is going to be the best team. They got every single player coming back, right?
Yep.
Holiday, White, Brown, Tatum, Horford. They got everybody come back, and everybody just got more experience. So I think they're going to be the best team the whole season. And look, they were one of the best teams almost all of last season. You could say were they the best team? Did they have the best record last year as well? I don't remember. Or were they up there?
Yeah, of course. Best Boston Celtics did.
Yeah, see?
Yeah,
so I think they're going to
sure.
repeat again as being the best team. I just think they're going to fall short. But that's what I think. What do you think is first your thoughts on Boston?
No, that's a great call. I mean, there's definitely nothing wrong with that. They have the talent. They won the championship. They've proven it. Health is the only thing that can bring them down, really. But you've seen Jaylen Brown, Tatum. They've been pretty reliable, durable all these years. So I mean, what's stopping them now? I think you're right on track on that one. That's a good call. That was actually on my mind as well as the Boston Celtics. But
interesting. So now then, who you think is gonna be the best team? Hit me with it.
The best team overall, I would probably pick, is the Denver Nuggets.
Nuggets. Okay.
They've been up there all these years, right? I mean, it's just one of those things.
They have.
And yes, they did lose KCP. Yes, they did lose him. It makes up for Westbrook. I mean, some will say that's a kind of okay move, but he does fit their synergy. Yes, he can bring in a defense. I feel like he brings, certain players just brings out the best in you. You don't even know how or why.
Mm-hmm.
Like a person just being there, the presence. He does that. He does that well with this group. And I can see that. Aaron Gordon, I mean, you can already see, I've seen Aaron Gordon, some of the statements about Westbrook. I want to win a championship for him. Like, you can already see that synergy connecting naturally, And Westbrook, he brings a lot. He might be coming off the bench. I think they have Braun starting, but I would see them connecting very, very well. Denver Nuggets, Jokic having a very strong season as well, and hopefully a healthy Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. I mean, they're still strong. So I would pick the Denver Nuggets to be the best team overall.
That's a very solid pick. But I have a feeling that Russell Westbrook is going to be fitting real well with the Denver Nuggets. I think he knows what his role going to be. I mean, you're still going to have some off-rest Westbrook moments, where the pass is too high or shot is, don't take that shot. But I think with this team, he's going to fit well. Be a distributor and I think the synergy really fits well with them, like you said. So I think I wouldn't be surprised if they are among the best teams in the NBA. I don't know if they're going to be the best team in the NBA, but I think they're going to be among the best. I think last year they had the best record in the Western Conference, so they've been there before. So that's a good pick. Good pick.
Yeah.
And then for our final topic on our first episode of our season 2 Hoopstrology podcast, who we think is going to be the surprise team of the NBA this season. Now, this one, I could have gone a couple different ways, because surprise could be a team that made the playoffs, but now we just think they're going to like run the table, or a non-playoff team that's going to make the playoffs. And I opted for the latter. My surprise team is the Houston Rockets, our hometown team. So I just feel this team's going to make the playoffs. I think they might make maybe a 6 seed to a plane. I think that's where I'm putting them. They're going to be a 6 seed to a plane seed. I just think coming back full season with Ime Udoka under already, this team knows what it needs to. I think the addition of Reece Shepard's just watching him play. His addition, not just on the court, but I think his energy. And I think that you spoke about this when they drafted him. I think his energy is going to help Jalen Green as well. And I think that's going to be key. And look, the Rockets, they just signed, speaking of Jalen Green, they just signed him to a 3-year, $106 million extension. Also signed Alperen Sengun, their star, to a 5-year, $185 million extension. So I think this team, Fred VanVleet, a healthy Tari Eason. They need a healthy Tari Eason, though. Him, Cam Whitmore, Thompson. I think this team's going to surprise. And look, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn saying it's going to surprise. I think a lot of people already kind of had a feeling that Houston was going to come into this season and be a team to look out for. Maybe not a championship contender, but a team that's going to compete for a playoff spot and keep moving up the notches of success. So that's my surprise team, Zodiac.
I love it. You know who the Rockets remind me of? The Rockets, and this is again the way I analyze them, right? I feel like they don't have the best synergy, but you know what? They have that talent for sure. They have talent, and it's scary. Just watching them, their wings, their defenders, their intensity, and they have an above average coach in Ime Udoka. They have all the right pieces. I feel like they're one quote unquote move away from making this team complete. Like they're just that one move, have it in the back of my mind, but I feel like they're just that one move that they could just tweak and, they'll be good, because there's certain things that I feel like that's kind of blocking their overall synergy as a whole. But I'm not mad at you. I think the Rockets will surprise a lot of teams, mainly because of talent, but not chemistry. That's my opinion, because they have the talent for that.
Where are they chemistry-wise before last season compared to this season?
Oh, man. I'd still give them, I still give them a C+ synergy. Talent, I feel like I had to bump them up because, the potential of talent, because it's just oozing. They have it. They're a scary team. They have the athleticism. Amen Thompson playing defense. Tari Eason. I mean, don't forget Cam Whitmore and Reed Shepard. And don't forget, you got Alperen Sengun. It's that you have, I feel like it's a little bit too much talent as a whole, because you're trying to plug in all these pieces to make it work, which is part of the challenge itself. But I feel like they are one move away to kind of tweak the roster a little bit and make everything wholesome. And I'm curious. I have a gut feeling there's going to be a big move for the Rockets this season, but for the good. But they might see something that might stand out a little bit. And I the last several years I've been mentioning this about this Rockets team. They're a stubborn centric team. I mean, straightforward. And just in energies, in a synergy way, from head coach to all their star players to all the role players. They're a stubborn-centric team. From what I've seen over the years, that type of energy as a whole, which of course no one even talks about this, right, is could be good and bad. It's good because it's constant, but it's also predictable. But it's also good if you have the right talent, right? So yeah. But I'm not mad at you, and I think you're on the right track with that one as well.
Okay. Okay. Good. So now, what's your surprise team of this NBA season?
My surprise team, I'm just going to put this out there, Charlotte Hornets. I feel like this is their year.
Charlotte
I know I've
Hornets.
been high on them since last year. They did have a
You
lot of
have. You have.
injuries, but I feel
Yeah.
like it's just like they just need to have everything together. But I feel like LaMelo Ball tends to get injured at some point, and everything else tends to kind of falters. But LaMelo and Brandon Miller synergy connection, along with Miles Bridges, is very, very strong. It's very good, and they have a culture setter in Charles Lee, that Scorpio. Think of someone like Eric Spoelstra, right? And that's a good thing because this team is young and they need that. And if you can solidify that culture there and earn their trust, and I think good things can happen in Charlotte, And I think that's going to be the team that's going to surprise many, if healthy again, if healthy. That's a key.
Interesting. The
So
Charlotte Hornets.
Charlotte Hornets.
I've always feel like they took a good step a couple seasons ago when they made the playoffs, and I was hoping they were going to take the next step, and they just kind of for the past 2 seasons haven't been able to take that next step. And
You're right.
I think health, of course, obviously that's a big issue, but I think they have the pieces, like you said once again. I think LaMelo Ball being healthy is key. Brandon Miller, second season of having already had one NBA season under his belt. I think he's going to come out and have a better season. I see them contending for the playoff spot. Yeah, that's a good pick. That's a good pick. A little bit bolder than mine, but I like it. You made some couple bold picks, and that's what we do here at Hoopstrology Podcast, Zodiac. But that is our first episode of the second season, our 25th episode overall, if I'm not mistaken. But we are going to have another great basketball season. Those are our predictions. Zodiac, any last final words?
Hey, follow us on Twitter X, the Zodiac GM, and also Hoopstrology.
And follow me, Jesus _Acevedo Jr. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe. See ya.